What's up, everybody? This your boy, Mr. Pound for Pound himself. It is going down, really going down. And I mean, it's going to go down. December 3rd, Antonio Margarito, the Tijuana Tornado versus Miguel Angel Cotto. It's going to be a great fight. This one, I see fireworks. You know what I mean? So, I decided to do a pre-fight. I think it's going to be a real good fight. Going to give you my prediction, my breakdown, and what I think about the fight, what I think is going to happen, just the overall assessment, if you will. And you guys, get back at me. We always talk, like I said, we always talk and chop it up about boxing and what we think. So, give me some feedback. I'm always up to it. I always chat with you guys, so I love it. Anyway, so yes, we are talking about the fight at Madison Square Garden. New York is going down for the WBA Super World Light Middleweight title. Excuse me, and the World Boxing Board Light Middleweight title also. It's going to be at a catch weight of 153 pounds. Let me just start by, talking about the last few fights. Now, we're talking about Cotto. Coming off that victory with the TKO against Mayorga. I thought it was a beautiful knockout, beautiful stoppage. He came off that TKO in 9 over Foreman, which he boxed beautifully. I thought that was a good showing, good performance from Cotto. Lost to Manny Pacquiao, with the TKO in 12, but he fought a very good fight. And then there was speculation at that time that Pacquiao could have been on some kind of performance enhancement drugs. I personally wouldn't go that far to be like, oh yeah, he was on it, steroids, because they really didn't, find anything out. So you can't really say nothing. But one thing I did say to myself when I was watching the Cotto Pacquiao fight was like, man, Pacquiao seems really strong this fight. And that was pretty much as I said. I was like, something seems weird. He seems stronger than I thought he would be against the Cotto. But hey, that's Pac, man. And you just gotta have to give it to him that he's just that strong. You know what I mean? Because like I said, there was allegations, but there wasn't no proof of anything. So there you go. Previous to that, Cotto split decision to Joshua Clottey in what I thought was a pretty close fight. Could have went either way. And then, we'll bypass the Michael Jennings knockout in 5. We'll talk about Margarito, which he lost to in 11 rounds TKO. Now, that was a good fight. And actually, the fight was going the way I thought it would. I actually had Cotto to win that fight. I had him to win that fight. I thought by stoppage, kind of the way that Shane Mosley stopped Margarito. I thought Cotto would be able to do that. Unfortunately, he didn't show that type of skill in boxing and punching power of a boxer puncher that Shane Mosley exhibited against Margarito. But there was allegations after that fight when Margarito fought Shane Mosley and he got caught loading up his gloves with the plaster of Paris. We don't know how long Margarito's been doing that. He could have did that in the Cotto fight. And to be honest, everybody out there, Margarito fans, Cotto fans, I honestly believe Margarito's gloves were loaded in the Cotto fight. I'll tell you why. You guys go back and watch the fight against Cotto. Margarito was getting to him in the mid to the late rounds, but he wasn't. The punches he was throwing accumulation of a lot of punches. He's going to the head, going to the body. When he had Cotto on the ropes, he was doing good work. But the amount of damage that was done to Cotto from rounds 6 till I'd say like literally round 9, like I saw a change in Cotto's face physically that you usually don't see unless a guy's really getting pounded on. And Margarito has power, but he doesn't have that type of punching power. That's why I believe his gloves possibly were loaded in that fight. It was just weird. Cotto's face looked fine after 5, looked fine during 6, and all of a sudden he looked like a mess. You know what I mean? And that's just, and ironically, that was during the time where Margarito was putting hands on him. So you could say, yeah, maybe he might have had loaded gloves, or you could be on the other side of the field and just say, well, Margarito was just hitting him a lot. It's either way you want to go, either way you want to look at it. I personally think he had loaded gloves. He got caught with loaded gloves, not right after that against Shane Mosley. So, I mean, you get caught doing something like that, man, and then you look back against a fighter who you just demolished, who you were actually losing when he was boxing you and he actually had his good legs going, and you were just getting torn apart, and then all of a sudden you're demolishing this guy and his face is changing. There's something up. You know what I mean? And I think the gloves are loaded, and I'm just gonna stop that at right there, and I won't talk about that anymore. That's just my opinion. You guys have your opinion. You can say what you want. Just my opinion. Anyway, on the flip side of Antonio Margarito, he's coming off that loss to Pacquiao, which was a unanimous decision. It was a brutal fight. I thought probably took one of his worst beatings I ever seen Margarito take. I mean, he got battered pillar to post by Pacquiao. I mean, he had Pacquiao. There was a few times where he kind of, had an exciting, exchanges with Pacquiao, but really not doing nothing. Then he got the unanimous decision victory against Roberto Garcia, which I thought he should have knocked Roberto Garcia out, but he didn't. He went 10 rounds in that fight. They fought for the vacant WBC international light middleweight title. It was an okay fight. I watched it kind of yawning here and there, but it was all right. Then he lost to Shane Mosley, TKO in 9, which is one of my favorite Shane Mosley fights of latter, late in his career, which I thought was a beautiful boxer puncher showing. Margarito just couldn't handle the speed. He couldn't handle the angles. Probably mentally discouraged from the finding of the plaster parage in his gloves. But nonetheless, brutal knockout victory by Shane Mosley. He took. Prior to that, he beat Miguel Cotto, and then prior to Miguel Cotto, he knocked out Kermit Cintron at 6. Golden Johnston, he knocked out in 1 round. Golden Johnston's really nobody at this point. I can knock out Golden Johnston with a good training camp, so we're not going to really go into Golden Johnston and give him no kind of credit. Paul Williams, he had the unanimous decision loss, which was a really good fight. I liked the fight. They both had a high punch rate. Margarito was coming back. It was just too late. He was making a comeback. It was just too late. So that's the recap on what they've done lately. So let's talk about more impressiveness. Miguel Cotto has definitely, and we're not all going to play dumb here. Even if you're a Margarito fan, don't play dumb. We all know Cotto has looked better in his recent fights. Cotto had the knockout victory against Mayorga, the win against Yuri Foreman. As to where, Margarito in his last 3 fights has been knocked out by Shane Mosley and then unanimous decision, almost knocked out by Pacquiao pretty much. The reason why I think he didn't get knocked out, Pacquiao showed some mercy in that fight. You know what I mean? So Miguel Cotto's definitely looked more sharper. He's looked a little bit more polished. I think he's got his confidence back since that loss to Margarito and Pacquiao. They're both coming off losses to Pacquiao, so I expect in the media hype and the leading to the fight, they probably will use that as a media tool, and comparing the fighters, comparing them both. They'll probably compare the first fight against the two, and then they'll compare how they did against Pacquiao and that nature. As far as this fight goes, my prediction, my breakdown, my analysis, I think Cotto wins this one. And the reason is, I thought he should have won the first one. Like I said, I still think Margarito's gloves were loaded that fight. Had they not been loaded, he probably would have won the fight. Cotto would have won the fight easy, as he was doing. This fight, I expect Cotto to come out and box Margarito to a beautiful unanimous decision, possible late stoppage. And Cotto's looked great in these last fights. He's looked retooled himself. He's changed his skill sets look different. He's popping the jab. He's running the combinations. He's got better head movement. He's moving nicely. He's moving smooth and fluid, in the ring. And Margarito's kind of his last fights. You could just see he's kind of plodding forward. He still has the same Margarito style, but he looks a step slower. And I think if Cotto can capitalize on that, which I think he will, because he is faster, he's just shorter with the shorter reach. But I think Cotto's got the intangibles. And he's got time on his side, and I think he's less battle-tested than Margarito. I don't think he's taken as much punishment as Margarito has. So my analysis and my prediction is that Miguel Cotto will take this fight either by unanimous decision or it'll be a late stoppage due to Margarito having a decently good chin. So, but besides that, I really don't see any way Margarito can win the fight. I think Cotto is a better version than the first Cotto he fought. We could say the first Cotto he fought was more prime, yeah, but this Cotto seems a lot more of a veteran, and he seems a lot more smarter. He seems a lot more calm. He seems a lot more focused on not just going out and brutalizing the guy, but actually, Cotto looks like he's using his brain now. You know, especially against Yuri Foreman, who's a good boxer. I mean, I was telling people, I said, dude, don't doubt Cotto. He's a good boxer, man. You outboxed Shane Mosley. So it's just gonna. I just don't see anything that Margarito can do unless he pops a really good jab. He has those long arms. I mean, he has to keep the jab busy, and if he can't keep the jab busy to keep the shorter guy off, I just see Cotto just running. You know, I just see Cotto running off combinations and then moving out. You know, turning and pivoting around and getting out the way of danger. So. That's pretty much my prediction. I mean, the only thing Margarito can really do is come out and try to brutalize him like he did the first time and throw a million punches, keep Cotto busy, keep him off his stride, keep him off balance. That's what Margarito's going to have to do. If he can't do it, it's going to be easy unanimous decision boxing match. If he does open up and he doesn't have those intangibles, like if he's slower, if he's slowed down even more, and if the loss to Pacquiao affected him mentally, physically, which it possibly could. I mean, he took a beating in that fight. We don't know yet, and he hasn't had a tune-up fight, and he's going against Cotto. So I mean, it's just not good. It's not looking good for Margarito. I definitely wouldn't put my money on him in no means. You know what I mean? So Cotto all day, Cotto all the way. You guys watch the fight, check it out, get back to me. Have a good day.